Hey, 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 hey. What's going on, people? What is up? What is up? Hey, y'all. Hey, let me get myself situated here. What's going on, people? I see y'all in the building today. I appreciate y'all for being here. Being here. Um, yeah, hey, Diamond Pearl, Jim, Volvo, hey, Cookie. Hey, Raphael, Jeff, Quintessential. Hey, Markel. Why are you on computer? Early morning meetings here. Let me get my not even 9 a.m. Child, you feel like it's been a whole day of work. Hey, Miss TR. Hey, everybody. Let's get up in here and hey, Tanya. Hey, beautiful. What's going on, people? So, listen, I don't got a whole lot of time this morning, but I told y'all that we would come back today and that we would talk about some politics and we get to the politics of it all. Let me preface. First of all, this is gonna be let me have a piece of licorice. I found some in my hey Rochelle Bailey as I was going to get snacks yesterday. I found this soft Australian licorice. Y'all know I love Twizzlers, right? So I found this soft Australian licorice and it is strawberry flavored and it's plant based and all of that good vegan stuff. No palm oil, no high fructose corn syrup, no GMO, and yeah, and it's really good. So yeah, cool. So I know you were going to ask about snacks. I also got me some Sour Patch Kids, all watermelon. So we are ready to go today. Ready to go. Ready to go. Mmm. So, but yeah, I decided to get a little, bougie with my snacks this morning. So I got this soft Australian licorice, which is very good. So let me say this, y'all. Let me make a couple, statements before we get into these good stories. Okay. Listen, y'all. Listen. If you notice, yours truly has really began to step away from talking about some of this stuff that just really doesn't matter. Like you will see no talk of Tasha K and Cardi B over here. Situations that do not have any effect on me, have nothing to do with me, that I generally do not care about. I don't like Cardi B. I don't like Tasha K. Why would I care? None of it is going to affect any part of my existence. Not a single part of my existence will be altered because of those two. Except for the fact that up and down my freaking YouTube timeline, I have to keep seeing these two names. And what saddens me sometimes, what what gets the red flags going is you would think that that case was the trigger for the next world war with the amount of time and energy that is being consumed in YouTube. Go look at your timeline and see how much is being invested into that. Hey, Shakira Boo. And no energy is being invested into news and the situation that can and will affect every single aspect of your life. Hey, Zap Allen, a situation, news that came out that can and will affect every aspect of your existence. Believe it or not, when a Supreme Court justice is up for appointment, that is something that affects the most powerful. Let's be clear. The presidency is not the most powerful entity in these yet to be United States of America. Hey, Tabitha. The most powerful entity in this country is the Supreme Court. And it's not even close. An appointment to the Supreme Court spans several presidencies. If Congress passes a law and does let's say, God forbid, Build Back Better. I'm not going to say God forbid. Well, God willing, Build Back Better had passed. With one swooping judgment, the Supreme Court could have said, oh, y'all wanted that law? It ain't happening. Anything Congress passes, the Supreme Court could say, y'all thought y'all was getting that? Sorry, girl, we ain't having it. The judiciary branch is the most powerful branch. They're supposed to be equal, but let's just be clear. They hold the ultimate veto. Yeah, the president can veto a law, but even if the president and Congress say, oh yeah, we want this, Congress votes on it, president signs it off, the Supreme Court could swoop in and say, nah, bitch, we ain't having none of that. And it doesn't even have to get all the way to the Supreme Court. It usually does, but even some of the circuit courts and the lower courts can stop laws. And we have people in the YouTube sphere that act like this Tasha K and Cardi B situation is the catalyst for World War III when it has no effect on it. It doesn't even affect what goes on YouTube. But everything we do in this country is affected by the Supreme Court. They make laws on the rights of you as a person. Supreme Court had to make decisions on whether or not Black people were deemed as actual human beings. I want you to get the magnitude of that. We weren't even seen as full human beings. And these were things that had to be adjudicated on. And we got people blathering about, bloviating about They are giving detailed hour by hour, minute by minute on the beaten path about shit that has no effect on anything or anybody. It boggles the mind. And we wonder how and why we have these sweeping laws that are sweeping the country. We have laws that are sweeping the country, that are telling people we don't care about you, that are telling people we do not value your life, that are telling people we don't care about you, we don't care about your children, we don't care about anything that you got going on. But people are just all over the place. They just can't see the forest through the trees, head in the sand. And then when these laws are acted upon, and then when you believe that your rights have been, circumvented, you're going to be hit with the reality that, oh yeah, my rights weren't circumvented because they passed these laws and says that's not a right of mine and I should have been paying attention. But it'll be too late then, because you was concerned with stupid shit that has no effect on you. You're playing with not only your lives, but the lives of your children and your grandchildren. I'm sorry, I had a little moment there, but I get incensed because people literally, like my grandfather used to say, they major on the minor and minor on the major. I mean, come on now, people. Now, I tell y'all all the time, something is wrong. Hey, little baby, with the Dems, okay? So because they don't know how to message. They're not good at marketing and messaging. Because there's no way on earth that the other side, the Republicans, they know how this goes. They know, feel the courts, feel the courts, feel the courts, because I don't care what happens, I can get all of that undone if I have people that align themselves with me up and down the judiciary branch. They know that, which is why, even though people say Trump had a one presidency, one term, was a one-term president, a lot of the things that he put in place are so consequential, are so far-reaching and long-stretching. Do you see what happened to the judicial branch and what he and Mitch McConnell were able to do? So excuse me if I'm not going to talk about stupidity like a Tasha K and Cardi B, which has not a single shred of influence on anything that I do. Let's talk about this Supreme Court nomination. So Justice Breyer, one of the liberal justices on the Supreme Court, there's only three: Justice Keegan, Justice Breyer, and Justice Sotomayor. Listen, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. It's that, I preach against the Democrat establishment over and over and over, because I don't know what they got going on. I don't know what's going on over there, because see, they have to know messaging. What they should be feeding their base is, they only hit it from one angle. They only say, oh, we need the Senate seat. oh, we need the Senate, we need the Senate, we need the Senate. They need to continue their messaging and say, hey, we don't just need the Senate, we need the court. We need as many people so we can get rid of this and we can fill the courts. We need to fill the courts. We need to fill the Supreme Court. We need to fill the Supreme Court. Do you see the ages of the 3 justices that Trump put over there? These people can be there for the next 30 plus years. 30 plus years. That's 2052 and more. Amy Coney Barrett is so racist and so bigoted, but has a lifelong appointment. Way after Donald Trump might be dead and gone, she will be there. I just want people to understand the gravity of all of this. Gorsuch is going to be there. Kavanaugh, who assaults women, is sitting on the Supreme Court. Some raging racist ass frat boy in a fucking suit is going to be on the Supreme Court. When your children get middle-aged, he will be there. Say, hey, how you doing? But y'all over here worried about Tasha K and Cardi B. Make it make sense. Because not only are we going to talk about the Supreme Court, but we're going to talk about some other stuff that is of consequence, because these laws and different things can make it to the Supreme Court, who will then validate whether or not that can be law or whether or not it won't be law. But y'all over here worried about the wrong thing. Y'all come at me talking about some what's the stupid little racist little Asian chick on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? I don't even remember her name at this point. But y'all come at me with this foolery, but you won't focus on things that are so consequential. Y'all better make this make sense for me. Y'all better make this make sense for me, because I can't. I just can't. I mean, let me say this to you, for the people that, like my friend really be said, like for the people in the back, it was the Supreme Court that had to say that black people were full-fledged human beings. We weren't deemed fully human. But you want to tell me that you have other pressing issues. Here we go. Here we go. So let's talk about some of these nominees. So Justice Breyer, our liberal justice, is retiring. And that means Joe Biden at this point will be only, let's be clear here, only because there's a Democrat majority in the Senate, only by virtue of the vice president having the deciding vote. Okay? Is Biden getting this pick? Because let's be clear, have Mitch McConnell been in office, he wouldn't have got. And you see, we got a whole 2+ years before the next election. Mitch McConnell would have had him have no parts of it, none. Now, let me tell you how stupid the Dems are and how smart the other side is. Ideally, or procedurally, a Supreme Court nominee is subject to the same filibuster that all of these other bills and laws is subject to. However, when it was convenient for Mitch McConnell and the Republicans, they found a way to get around the filibuster. That's what they did. And they made it where a Supreme Court nominee now didn't have to be subject to the filibuster. Why? Think about it. When Obama was trying to get a justice in there, what did Mitch McConnell do? He used the filibuster to stop it. When Donald Trump was president and he wanted it to get through, they said, oh, we'll find a way around this filibuster to get whatever we want through. And that's what happened. And that's the only way that Biden is going to get this nominee. And my point for all of that is, the other side seems to find a way to get stuff done while the Dems sit there and say, oh, it's the filibuster. Oh, it's Joe Manchin. Oh, it's Kirsten Sinema. Y'all ain't trying to get nothing done. Y'all trying to go under the cloak and guise of trying to get stuff done. You ain't really trying to get nothing done. You ain't, you ain't serious. You ain't serious. Why? Because let's be clear. Now here's where we really gonna get down to the meat and potatoes. You know why they ain't that hard pressed? Because let's be clear, most of these laws still are advantageous to these white people that are even on the Democratic side, and even they don't want to give up some of their white privilege and white supremacy. So they'll give the illusion like, oh, we're over here fighting for you people. Hey, Regina, we're over here fighting and championing the cause of the blacks and the Hispanicos and all of the other people of color, when they ain't real serious. Why? Because some of those laws help them keep their white supremacy and their white privilege. Because if they would find a way to get stuff through, even with the filibuster, because that's what the other side did. And if they could find the loopholes and if they could find a way, I'm sure you all can as well. But you don't want to. But we're here. I didn't mean to get sidetracked. We're here. Now, Biden did pledge way back during the campaign that if he was given a Supreme Court nominee, that he would appoint a black woman. But there's no representation from a black woman at all. Hell, one might say it ain't no black representation on the Supreme Court at all. Because if you ask me, Clarence Thomas is black presenting, but not black for real. But that's a whole different story for a whole nother day. Anyway, so yesterday we talked about two of the leading names. One in Judge Kataji Brown Jackson, a native of Miami, Florida, born and raised in Miami. I know she was raised in Miami. I don't know if she was born, but I know she was raised in Miami. She went to Miami Palmetto. Harvard grad. And last year she was confirmed to the nation's second highest court, to the DC Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the nation's second highest court. She was confirmed there by a 53-44 vote. 3 Republicans voted for Ketanji Brown Jackson. And let me give you their names. It was Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Lindsey Graham. Why is that important? Because black ass Tim Scott from fucking South Carolina couldn't even muster up the fucking testicles, balls, cojones to vote for the black woman. But Lindsey Graham, Lady G as he likes to be called, go check out my YouTube video about Lady G. But Lindsey Graham even voted for her. That Lindsey Graham voted to confirm her. But Tim Scott, who's out of the same state as Lindsey Graham, who's a black man, couldn't even vote for Kataji Brown Jackson. This is what y'all got going on. So I tell y'all, some of these people are black presenting. Now, if your own colleague, KBR Burns, in your own state, this white man who has done all types of bigoted and racist things, passed all types of laws that affirmed his white privilege and white supremacy, okay, can vote to confirm this black woman, and you as a black man sitting in the United States Senate, one of only 3 black people, couldn't vote to confirm this beautiful black queen, make it make sense. But that's what y'all got going on. South Carolina with Tim Scott. A mess. A mess. So that's just a mess. We gave a little bit of her background yesterday. We do know she's a Harvard grad. She was first appointed as a circuit judge by Obama, and then she was appointed to the second highest court, the DC Court of Appeals, by President Joe Biden, and was confirmed by the Senate. All right. Let's look at some of the others. All right. So, and let me say this. Why is this important? It's not going to change the court, how the court swings. You know what I'm saying? It's not. Justice Breyer is a um, liberal justice. The only thing we can hope for is that God says to, we ain't wishing death on nobody, but God might say to Justice Thomas, listen, you have worked hard in the vineyard, and let me call you on the glory. Hey, and he might be called on the glory prior to the midterm elections. I don't know. Dear God, somebody look that up and tell me how old Clarence Thomas is. Let me look that up. Because I don't know how old that guy. I believe he's in his 80s. He's been on the court. Shoot, got to be about 30 years. I remember that. That was what, 1990 or 1991 or something like that when he got confirmed. He's been on the court about 30 years. He is, he's only 73. He still got some time. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. He's been on the Supreme Court since 1991. He's been on the court. Look how long that is. That's 31 years. Hey, Boogie L, ain't going nowhere. He's only 73, which for some people is old. But in the grand scheme of things, he could still be on the Supreme Court for another 10 or 15 years. But y'all worried about who somebody that I don't know in 10 or 15 years will be relevant. Anyway, dear God above, dear God above. Oh, anyway, where was I? I was looking at this, but the while I'm looking this up, um, the Dems know they have to do this fast. The Dems know they he lived up on time. Regina, listen, the good Lord might say, "Hey, I'm calling you on the glory." I ain't wishing death on nobody, but you know, when the Lord says, "I'm ready for you to go on the glory," you got to answer the call. I mean, you see, God done took how many people we done seen over the last month and a half. How many people the good Lord has called on the glory and said, "Yeah, it's time, it's time, it's time." Just saying, just saying. Anyway, um, now what I'm not too concerned with right now is Cinema and Mansion voting against these nominees. I don't even think Mansion has that kind of the cojones to do that. Although he certainly had no problem voting for he voted for Kavanaugh and he voted for Gorsuch. He voted for Justice Kavanaugh and for Justice Gorsuch with no problem. Didn't bat an eye. What am I drinking on today? It is the white cranberry strawberry. No white cranberry peach. Today is the white cranberry strawberry. So yeah. So here are other people. Where's my stuff? I just had all this stuff here, y'all. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So here is the short list. Okay, here's the short list. Of course, I told you Kataji Brown Jackson. You're probably at the top of the list. We have Seventh Circuit Court Judge Candice Jackson. Candice Jackson. Aki Akiwumi. Akiwumi. I don't know if I'm pronounced. I'm probably butchering this woman's name. That is Jackson hyphen Akiwumi. Okay. You have Second Circuit Judge Eunice Lee. You have California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Kruger. We spoke on her yesterday. We have Federal Circuit Judge Tiffany Cunningham. We have South Carolina District Judge J. Michelle Childs. I've heard her name as between her, depending on who you read or listen to or talk to. I've been hearing Leandra Kruger and J. Michelle Childs as the other two really between Kataji Brown Jackson, who's the front runner. You have after that Leandra Kruger and J. Michelle Childs. Those are two names that I know I've been hearing over and over and over. You have, and then you have Minnesota District Judge Willamina Wright. You know she black. Her name Willamina. Come on, Willamina. Come on, Willamina. Yes. But though that's the short list. And I did get a little bit of information, not a whole lot. Candice Jackson, Akiwumi, was confirmed to the Seventh Circuit Court by a 53 to 47 vote just this past June. And also, the three who voted for Ketanji Brown Jackson also voted for her. Notice I didn't say Tim Scott. Tim Scott seems to have an issue with black women. Doesn't he have a white wife, which just makes sense, which why he don't want to vote for no black woman. Show me on the dog, Tim Scott, where black women hurt you. Because black women ain't did nothing but support you. Black women ain't did nothing but give you life and birth you into the world. What has black women done to you, Tim Scott? You're the product of a black woman? Whatever. Don't get me started. Eunice Lee, who's the Second Circuit Judge Eunice Lee, was confirmed in this past August to the Second Circuit Court, but her vote was much closer. Her vote was only along party lines. It was 50 to 47. Collins and Murkowski voted against her. In July, they voted to confirm Federal Circuit Judge Tiffany Cunningham. They voted in July to confirm her, and that vote went 63 to 33. Her vote went 63 to 33. Now, J. Michelle Childs was confirmed to the South Carolina District Court back in 2010. And she was recently nominated by Biden to serve on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, and the Senate Judiciary Committee is scheduled to hold a hearing on her nomination next week. So she's supposed to sit alongside, if confirmed, she was supposed to be sitting alongside Kataji Brown Jackson on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, and that nomination had already been, her name had already been put in nomination by President Biden. She was actually supposed to be start her nomination, her confirmation hearings next week. So now if you want to know who the establishment Dems are leaning toward, J. Michelle Childs. That's why I told you I've been hearing her name, because she has already gotten the endorsement of Jim Clyburn. So I'm just letting you know where the establishment is going with this. Judge Willamina Wright was confirmed to the Minnesota District Court in January 2016, and has had past support from Senate Rules Committee Chairwoman Senator Amy Klobuchar, who's backing her. And Chuck Schumer is also backing Willamina Wright. So that's a little bit about some of these people who Michelle Obama wouldn't even take the nomination. Let's be clear. I don't. One thing we know about Joe Biden, he doesn't pull out. He's not a shock person. Joe Biden, he's not one of those people who just pulls out and does something that shocks the world. That's not in his history. He's gonna go with chalk on this. He's gonna go right down. It's gonna be one of those. If I'm a betting man, I'm pushing all my chips in on one of the names that we call, with the front runners being Kataji Brown Jackson, and probably at this point, J. Michelle Childs, because J. Michelle Childs has the backing of the establishment Dems. And when I say the establishment Dem, I mean y'all's boy Jim Clyburn, who the Dems seem to acquiesce to on anything that deals with black people. I guess he's the only person who has anything to say about Black people. Now, um, if y'all want, I can tell y'all the ages of these women because that is important too. Because why is that important? Because we want to know that if you're a president, you want to pick somebody preferably in their 40s. Why? Because if they're in their 40s, they got, some years in the game where they have they have a record and they have history and they have, established themselves in the field, but they also have a lot of years in front of them where you can get at least a quarter century or 30 plus years from them. And why do they look to Clyburn for his knowledge on Black Child? It has been for a long time, especially after John Lewis went on to glory. He was the heir apparent. Like they would defer a lot of stuff to John Lewis. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't because of their history of what they did in the both Clyburn and John Lewis, what they did for this country and for Black people in terms of their what they did in the civil rights era and stuff like that, and how they ascended to Congress after that. But Clyburn is still stuck in 1970 something, and this ain't the 70s no more. So, um, now, okay, let me give y'all these ages. I think we went over Katanji Brown Jackson's age yesterday, didn't we? But I'll tell you again, no problem. I got y'all. I got y'all. I got y'all. Don't worry about it. I got y'all. Listen, we got this. So Katanji Brown Jackson is 51. Okay, she was born in 1970, September 14th, 1970. Um, who was the second person I named? Second person I named was Seventh Circuit Seventh Circuit Judge Candace Jackson Akiwumi. Akiwumi. I'm probably butchering that poor woman's name. She is my age. Oh God. She was born in 1979. She is 43. Out of Norfolk, Virginia. She went to Princeton and Yale. The next one I mentioned was Second Circuit Court Judge Eunice Lee. Eunice Lee is 52. She was born in 1970. She went to Ohio State and got her and Yale Law. So yeah, she is 52. She must have just recently had a birthday. She probably a Capricorn. Oh, Capricorn. Oh, it's still Capricorn season. Get over yourselves. I think we went over Leandra Kruger yesterday, but I'll go over it again. I got y'all. I got y'all. Leandra Kruger, she was 40 something. She's 45. She was born July 28th, 1976. She is 45. I believe the next one we went over was Federal Circuit Judge Tiffany Cunningham. She is 45 as well. She was born May 27th, 1976. And J. Michelle Childs is 55. She was born in 1966 on March 24th, 1966. I believe she's the oldest of all of the nominees. And finally, Minnesota District Judge Willamina Wright. Come on, Willamina. She is fit. No, she's the oldest. She is 58. Um, She is 58. She was born in 1964. Um, yeah, she was born in, and she's a Yale graduate and went to Harvard Law. So, yeah. So those are all of the now um who am I rooting for? Anybody black. I'm rooting for anybody black. Um my best friend told me to look up to see if any of these wonderful black queens are part of the Divine Nine because he always wants to know, are they any of them part of the Divine Nine? I didn't look that up. I didn't go that far yet. I'm sure, trust me, the sororities, they will claim all of their members real quick. They'll have no problem that, hey, that's one of ours. Don't worry about that. That's ours. We got that. We got that. So if one of them are, it'll be out sometime today. Trust and believe. We'll know. So those are our candidates. Well, that's our short list, I should say, of nominees. I'm very pleased with that list. I'm very pleased that because y'all know we've been saying for a long time, Joe, we are side eyeing, and we are here for this nominee. We want one of our beautiful black queens on this court, but that ain't all we want. We coming for more. We need everything that is owed to us. Y'all owe us a whole lot. Let's be clear. We need everything that is owed to us. Stop playing with a real G. Anyway, so so I wanted to go through that. I wanted to spend some time on that, and that is our short list. Stay tuned. Like I told y'all, right now I think the front runners are J. Michelle Childs, Kataji Brown Jackson, and Leandra Kruger. And I think J. Michelle Childs might have edged out Leandra Kruger. So you probably are going back and forth between Katanji Brown Jackson and J. Michelle Childs. I think Brown Jackson will probably end up with the nomination. I mean, with the um, nomination or appointment, but we'll see. Any questions about that? I feel like I'm in a classroom now. Any questions about that? We all in a good place. So here's why the Supreme Court is important. Here's why the Supreme Court is important. Because while people got all of this stuff to say, they got all of these things that they care about, none of which have any relevance or consequence to what's going on. These things are happening that the Supreme Court gets to decide. I told y'all the Supreme Court is really about to take up cases that decide Roe v. Wade. We already talked about that earlier last year. Now we have Supreme Court once again deciding on whether colleges can consider race in the admissions process. Because remember the attack on affirmative action. Now, the Supreme Court didn't outright do away with affirmative action. They did not. However, it's being brought before the courts again. And now we're in a situation where there's an attack on diversity. We know there's an attack on diversity in K through 12 schools. Now we have an attack on diversity with regard to admissions into college. Because while y'all are over here worried about fucktards like Cardi B and Tasha K, they are trying to make it more difficult for black people to get into college. But y'all are over here worried about all the wrong things. I told y'all the Supreme Court makes decisions that affect every part of your life. But these people are not concerned. Let me read this for y'all. This is from The Root. The Supreme Court announced it will review whether universities should consider race as a part of admitting applicants on the basis of creating a quote diverse student body, reported the Washington Post. Specifically, the Supreme Court will examine admissions at Harvard University and University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, who have previously won against challengers in lower courts to consider race when evaluating applicants. The Post referenced the 2003 decision with Grutter versus Bollinger, where the court decided using race in admissions practices is constitutional, but only when being used with intentions of diversifying a student body. However, another petition has been filed to challenge this decision and argue that race-based decisions violate the Constitution. So here's what we got going on. In the Grutter versus Bollinger, which was a monumental case, which was a huge case at the time, back in 2003, where people thought that there was this real concerted attack on affirmative action, what the Supreme Court says was, hey, a university can utilize race when deciding on an applicant if their use of race is for the purposes of making sure that there's diversity within the student body. They can use race to promote diversity within their student body. That is constitutional. They deem that constitutional. So that would then go out. So when they say, hey, we got a whole bunch of white people, we need a little more color around here, so we're going to start, picking students of color, they can do that. So, and here's why that matters, because when you're an institution like Harvard and you're an institution like some of the, or any, I ain't gonna even say Harvard. I can tell you right now, the average GPA of a student that is enrolling at an HBCU like FAMU is higher than 4.0. The average GPA of a student enrolling at Florida A&M University right now is higher than 4.0. That is not, I'm not being hyperbolic. That is real. Those are the stats. And so, so the point that I'm making is, Quentin Citru, you say you got a new article on the Supreme Court justice consideration. Email that to me. I can pull it up. If you email it to me, Quentin Citru, I can pull it up and I'll look at it while we're going through this live. Anyway, if where was I? What was I about to say? Oh, when you begin to talk about the decisions that a college makes, if you got 1,000, I'm just gonna say 100 applicants, that all you're taking this year is 100, and all of those hundreds have the highest GPA, they got all of the extracurricular activity, they got all of this, that they got all of the check boxes checked. What else do you think these college admissions people are looking at? Let's say you got 500 applicants, you only taking 100. You got all 500 check all of the boxes. Where do you go now? How do you make the decision? I'm gonna tell you where they went there. Then they started to look at, well, who's your mom? Well, who's your dad? Well, what family do you come from? Well, has your family made a contribution to the university? Are you a legacy? And unfortunately, that black child who grew up, maybe in a neighborhood that wasn't as well-to-do and well-off, they don't have that lineage of past, alumnus of that university where they can say, oh, I'm a legacy, or I come from this family. Hell, If you somebody like me, yeah, I checked all the check boxes, but my family was thugs and goons that got arrested and spent years in penitentiary and was selling all kinds of nefarious and illicit drugs to the community. But I checked all the boxes. So you got to right, and there are a lot of first generation college, you know, applicants. So I think it's very important that you do have universities that begin to say no, I need to be diverse, because left to themselves, you'll have a completely white population, and that's what they want. Let me continue to read this article so you can see this is what they want. Donald Trump gave them a glimpse and gave them a taste of the fact that they could take this country back to the 19th century when white men ruled and controlled everything in American life. And they don't want to let that go. They don't want to give up no parts of that. So they're doing everything in their power. Christian conservative white men got a taste of the fact that they could take this country back to the 19th century or the 18th century, and they're going to do that. And they ain't letting none of it go down. And now they're going for the gusto. They're going for it all. That is what you got happening. So, the Washington Post article says, quote, Edward Bloom, president of Students for Fair Admissions, the group that spearheaded both challenges, said polls show that Americans strongly disapprove of race-conscious admissions. In a multiracial, multi-ethnic nation like ours, the college admissions bar cannot be raised for some races and ethnic groups, but lowered for others, Bloom said in a statement. Our nation cannot remedy past discrimination and racial preferences with new discrimination and different racial preferences. Bloom's group told the Supreme Court it would be fitting to end the use of racial considerations by overturning policies at the nation's oldest private college and the nation's oldest public college. In the latest decision, the Supreme Court upheld in 2016 that the limited use of race in applicant evaluations was permitted in a case of the University of Texas. In an opinion written by Justice Anthony M. Kennedy, he emphasized the ruling basically meant that diversity justified some intrusion on the Constitution's guarantee of equal protection, per the Post. Now the court has to make sure race-neutral admissions policies can ensure the school's diversity. States like California, Michigan, and Florida have already banned the use of race as a consideration for applicants to public universities. Students for Fair Admissions had initially filed a suit against the two schools in 2014, and both schools denied allegations of unlawful bias in admissions process. Harvard's process, Students for Fair Admissions alleged, was stacked against Asian Americans, quote, based on prejudicial and stereotypical assumptions about their qualifications, end quote. The suit also alleged that the university seeks to engineer the demographics of incoming classes to meet predetermined goals through racial balancing, that it gives too much weight to race in making admission decisions, and that it failed to give adequate consideration to race-neutral alternatives. In the North Carolina case, the plaintiff contended that the state's flagship university discriminated against white and Asian American students. UNC uses race mechanically to ensure the admissions of the vast majority of underrepresented minorities, Students for Fair Admissions alleged. In the Harvard case, the Post reported U.S. District Judge Allison D. Burroughs was not persuaded that the admissions process had a racial bias against Asian Americans. As for the UNC case, Chapel Hill case, U.S. District Judge Loretta C. Biggs found their admission process constitutional and beneficial to students of color instead of ignoring race altogether. Race is so interwoven in every aspect of the lived experience of minority students. To ignore it reduces its importance and measure it only by statistical models as students for admissions has done misses important context, Biggs wrote via the Post. If the court decides to prohibit the use of race in college admissions altogether, it will certainly send a ripple across all universities and higher education. Now, here's the problem. Here's where we're going with this. This nefarious group, Students for Fair Admission, sounds like a bunch of white kids that didn't get into Harvard that wanted to get in. Let me just be clear. Okay. So, what we got going on here is this group, Students for Fair Admissions, they don't want race at all. They said you shouldn't use race at all. We don't care about diversity. We don't care. They blatantly said we don't want you to have it where it's a racially balanced college or student body, and you are unfairly leaving out Asians and white people. Now, let me understand white people. When have you ever unfairly not been granted admission into colleges? Because black people, from the annals of times in these yet to be United States of America, have been discriminated against with regard to um, admissions into colleges and universities. So, what are we talking about here? Oh, I'm looking at this article, y'all. Well, let me finish my point with this case. So, what the Supreme now here's where we have to really consider the Supreme Court in 2016, where you had the University of Texas that was using race to try to keep their student population balanced, and there was people who went to the Supreme Court to say that wasn't fair. The Supreme Court upheld and said that that was constitutional for them to use race as a means by which to gain admissions. That was in 2016. Before the court, that was when Obama was still in office, okay? This is before the court was 6-3 conservative. If this is going to the Supreme Court, people, this is about to go to the Supreme Court is 6-3 conservative. They're way over there on the right. They just hanging off the right side. And even if you have Chief Justice Roberts, that kind of is in the middle a little bit. He's on the right now. Let's be clear, he's on the right, but he kind of wants to, sometimes he'll go toward the middle and may do the right thing from time to time. Even if he decides to go with the liberals on this, it ain't gonna matter because the other 5 want no parts of you black people. The other 5 want no parts of you black people. And so they could easily say, yeah, that's unconstitutional. No more race. And now what that means is now when you want your child to go to these Ivy League schools or your child applies, and I ain't gonna even say you want your child. Let's say your child, because I do believe that the selection of a college and or university should be the choice of that child or that student. It should not be the choice of the parent. It should be the choice of that student. They should have the ultimate say on where they want to pursue their education. And if your child says, I want to be able to go to X school that's a PWI, predominantly white institution. It's very, very possible that if this decision comes down and they say you can't use race at all, you could see the statistics of blacks in those institutions plummet, plummet, plummet. But y'all over here worried about shit that don't matter. Because if I'm a parent, that's that's a worst case scenario. Why is my child being left out simply because they're black? But y'all worried about the wrong thing. This is why this is important, people. This is why these things are important. But I'll leave it to the people who say, "Oh, I ain't touching politics. They don't bother. They don't have nothing to do with me. I ain't got to worry about politics. I don't do politics." Okay, okay. Hey, Jay Parrish. Um. Uh. Quintessential sent me an article from the AP about the Supreme Court picks, and there are three judges. Now, my article that I had came from thehill.com. This is from the AP, Associated Press. And I'm gonna read this real fast because, like I said, we know what we be talking about over here. We know what we be talking about over here. We break news over here. Okay. Um, and even now yesterday, when I gave y'all those two names yesterday, that wasn't from an article. That was when Really B sent me a message about it during the middle of my live. I also got an email from a friend of mine who, and I got some sources in politics on the Dem side, and they said these are the front runners right here. They sent me that real fast. Breyer's retiring. This is the front runners right now. I'm gonna give you that. Do what you want with it. And so that's where I got that list from. And then I started to see those two names. Anyway, Um, so it says President Joe Biden is eyeing at least three judges for an expected vacancy on the Supreme Court as he prepares to quickly deliver on his campaign pledge to nominate the first black woman to the nation's highest court, according to aides and allies. Biden and Justice Stephen Breyer are expected to hold an event at the White House Thursday to formally announce Breyer's plan to retire, according to a person briefed on the planning, who was not authorized to publicly discuss it in advance. Early discussions about a successor are focusing on U.S. Circuit Court Judge Kataji Brown Jackson, U.S. District Judge J. Michelle Childs, and California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Kruger, according to four people familiar with the matter who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss White House deliberations. Jackson and Kruger have long been seen as possible nominees. Since Biden took office in January 2021, he has focused on nominating a diverse group of judges to the federal bench, installing 5 black women on federal appeals courts, with 3 more nominations pending before the Senate. Other possible candidates for the High Court could come from among that group, Biden aides and allies said, especially since almost all of the recent Supreme Court nominees have been federal appeals judges. So, like I said just a few minutes ago, hey Yana, hey Dance for Christ. Is that Dance for Christ or Dance for Christ? I don't know. Those are our 3 nominees, these 3 beautiful black queens. I told y'all that a couple minutes ago. We discussed that our 3 front runners are 3 beautiful black queens in the form of Ketanji Brown Jackson, J. Michelle Childs, Leandra Kruger. Y'all can go look them up. I'm sure. Well, I am certain that news sites and journalists all over the place are combing through every aspect of their life. They're going and talking to their first and second grade classmates about that time they snatched the paper from their desk. They're going and talking to, people they went to school with, people went to college with, somebody who went to the gym with them, somebody that saw them down to the McDonald's and to the Walmart before. Anybody, they ex-boyfriends or whatnot, or ex-girlfriends, however, trust and believe they're going to comb through every facet of their existence. So, but when you're right as much as we are over here, you don't have to brag about it. We break news over here. Listen, y'all were here yesterday when we were live and we told you the two names, did we not? Did we not do that yesterday? Right here, when the news broke, I immediately said, hey, these are two names. But we don't have to talk about it. We don't have to brag over here. This is what we do. This is what we do. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, while you people are bloviating over the Tasha K. Cardi B scandal that means nothing to the entirety of the human populace, Lord, this is what's going on in the state of Florida. We talked a little about this yesterday on Teacher Project 2.0. However, it's going further now. I told you these people, they look for one state to start it, and then that's the blueprint, and it starts sweeping the country. Remember how I told y'all Texas was attacking LGBTQIA plus youths, and they were removing resources, mental health resources for those students from their websites, and removing books from the school libraries, and had gone even further to remove books from public libraries, not school libraries, public libraries. Not to be outdone by Governor Hot Wheels, Governor Death Sentence has invigorated. I need to call. I don't have your number, Cams. I don't have your number. Now I do try to tell the mod squad when I'm going live, or if you send me a message on Instagram, send me a DM. I'll try to add you to my list of people who I let know when I go live. Like I'll tell Tabitha, hey, I'm going live. So she'll know. So just send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll try to when I go live, I'll try to make sure I send you a little message. Hey, I'm going live. Yeah, because I had a whole like 45-minute long rant, Cams, about how disrespectful you people are, who care way more about Cardi B and freaking Tasha K than y'all do about Supreme Court justice, who will have influence on all aspects of your life. They using my term, Governor Hot Wheels. Y'all know we've been calling that man Governor Hot Wheels since last year. Now all of a sudden, Tabitha is so funny because we've been calling him Governor Hot Wheels since I think we started calling him Governor Hot Wheels. It was early last year. It was like early last year in 2021. We started calling him Governor Hot Wheels. Go back and check. It's all here for you to look at. Child. I guess they say imitation is the highest form of flattery. I guess I'm supposed to be flattered. Child. They be paying attention over here. They do. They be over here watching us. They be watching us. They try to act like they don't. They be over here. Anyway. So, not to be outdone by Governor Hot Wheels, Governor Death Sentence, Ron DeSantis has decided that, oh yeah, I'm going to do this too. And I am going to put a battery in the back of all of the Karens and all of the white people in the great state of Florida. Okay. Ciao. You were the first person I ever heard say that. I can't remember when you said it, but yes, someone commented on one of my posts calling him Governor Hot. Listen, see, they be over here. We've been calling him Governor Hot Wheels for almost a year now. Anyway, so Governor Death sentence to put a battery in the back of these people. Let me read this article. It says Florida's debate over LGBTQ topics being taught in school drew one lawmaker to confront a remark from a parent who claimed the subject has an agenda, reported Newsweek. The hearing centered on Senate Bill 1300, which revises the salaries of district school board members and also mandates a review of materials school departments select for schools and libraries. Now, let me read this part of the article. At the hearing, Karen Moran, of course her first name is Karen. Of course her first name is Karen. Karen Moran from the group Best SOS America raised concerns about a particular book she claimed was available in Palm Beach County libraries. I didn't say the school library. We're talking about Palm Beach County Public Library. Palm Beach County Public Library. Now, why is this a problem? This is Palm Beach County in South Florida, the bedrock of the Democratic Party in the state of Florida. If you're having concerns of this in places like Palm Beach County and Broward County, Houston, we have a problem. We got a problem here. Because this is supposed to be the most liberal of areas. And they're trying to take this not just out of the schools, but they're over here at the hearings screaming about it being in public libraries. How is this any different from what was going on in Germany when Hitler and his boys were taking books and art and music and piling them up in the middle of the city and burning them because they said they didn't want people reading books that they did not approve of and that didn't align with their ideologies. Let me keep reading. Newsweek's research on the library system found no copies. The book itself, the book titled It Feels Good to Be Yourself, a book about gender identity by Teresa Thorne, is a picture book for young readers about the concept of gender identity. Quote, it's causing gender confusion with our kids, and it should not be in our libraries, and we should not be funding this, and we should get all these books out, end quote, Moran told the committee, of which State Senator Chevron Jones is vice chair. This quote, this bill is a great method to get these books out and make people aware of what's going on, Moran went on to say about Senate Bill 1300, which the hearing centered on. State Senator Chevron Jones and we talked about him some time ago. I think Tabitha, I sent you a video of him. I think last week or something like that. But State Senator Chevron Jones, the first openly gay Black person in Florida, elected to Florida's legislature, responded to Moran's claim, saying no book influenced his identity and sexuality. Quote, as a gay man, to sit here in committee to hear that there was no book that I read that brought me to who I am. And even your children, I don't care what you may try to do to think that you are protecting them. The one thing you are obligated to do, like my mother and father did, is to love them for who they are. End quote, said Senator Jones. Jones also advised the ones speaking against the book to be mindful of who their words may offend and to advocate for their children without harming anyone else's. Jones's colleagues cut to the chase and told the parents if they're unhappy, they can place their children elsewhere. Although Jones stopped short of instructing parents to move their children out of public schools as a solution to their unhappiness with the books available in their districts, some of his colleagues, like Democratic Senator Tina Polsky, did not hold back. Quote, you have a choice. If you don't like what you see in schools, then don't go. Then homeschool your kids, she said in the hearing. Quote, if you want them insulated so much that they shouldn't learn about the outside world, you can homeschool or you can send them to a religious private school with voucher money. We have made that immensely available, end quote. The bill advanced forward by the end of the hearing with a majority Republican vote. Though some Republicans disagreed with the section of the bill regarding the monitoring of school materials, Senator Travis Hudson considered censorship as a problem, being parents are almost directly involved in choosing school curriculum. But it passed. All that said, it passed. It's going to the House where it'll pass quite easily. They'll send it down to the House, Florida House, where it will pass easily, and it'll sit on Ron DeSantis' desk for all of 2.3 seconds, the amount of time it takes him to sign. Like the state senator said, the Democratic state senator said, hey, if you got a problem with what's being taught in public schools, you can go to a private school. Because the Republican Florida governors have made it where there's tons of monies and tons of vouchers for white people to send their kids to private school. They ain't giving a whole lot of that money to our black asses. But the white people, oh yeah, just come apply for this voucher. We'll have public funds that are used to pay for your child to go to private school if you want. This is what y'all got going on. So now we have an attack on education. We have an attack on children. We have laws. Let me wrap your hands around this. We have laws being put in place that is saying that you cannot discuss your own race. You cannot discuss your own feelings that you're having inside your body, your own identity. A child that may be grappling with their own orientation, identity, or whatever they may be grappling with, they aren't going to even have the resources to help them figure it out, because what y'all have going on is an attack on education. The children can't even be educated on what's going on in their bodies. I want you to understand that. That's what we got going on. But we worried about all the wrong things. Because while y'all are worried about what's going on the television show Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which has no consequence on anything We got real laws being passed in some of the largest states in this country. Texas and Florida are two of the four largest states in the country. I think Texas is three and Florida is four, or either Florida is three and Texas is four. We have sweeping, discriminatory, bigoted, and racist laws that are being passed. Laws. It is now illegal in Florida for you to make a white person feel bad about being white. It is illegal in the state of Florida and in the state of Texas for you to talk about Black history in a public school. It is against the law for you to talk about and educate children on the history of this country and how there was entrenched slavery and racism built in the fabric of this country, which is not an opinion. It is truth. It is real. It has happened, but it is against the law for you to say that. In the state of Texas, if your child is having questions about who they are, about their orientation, and they need mental help, they can't get that. It is illegal. All of the resources have been snatched away. It is illegal in Texas and Florida for a teacher to provide a child books by Black authors that speak to the validity of their Blackness and who they are as an individual. They have been removed from schools and are ceremoniously being removed from public libraries. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not, pushing, trying to be. This is happening. This is happening right now. This is really going on. This is really, boy, go look at your YouTube timeline. Go look at it. I just want you to just go take a look up and down your timeline. The Supreme Court is that far away from snatching Roe v. Wade and a woman's right to an abortion. Basically, in the state of Texas, hey, Patty Duke, you pretty much can't even get an abortion no more in the state of Texas. And the Supreme Court said, well, we just going to let that sit there. They ain't got nothing to do with us. We don't want no parts of it. We'll just let that sit there. We'll let that ride out. These things are here. They are happening. Hey, Karen. But y'all are concerned with things that are of no consequence. Let me get to my last story and get up out of here. I said I was only going to be here for 45 minutes. And here I am, an hour and a half in. Dear God above. Dear God above. Oh, dear God. Cam, you so late. We just talked to Cam. I wish you were here. We spent about 20 to 30 minutes on the Supreme Court case that the Senate, that not the Senate, that the Supreme Court is we just talked about the affirmative action case, the one against Harvard and the one against UNC Chapel Hill. We were just talking about the affirmative action case. Cam, you got to go back and read ball, Cam. You got to go back and hear the replay. Listen, I don't just want you to think that this is only the great state of Texas and the great state of Florida and North Carolina, the holy trinity of all things racism, bigotry, and discrimination in these yet to be United States of America. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I just want to show you. I see this is why something like the Supreme Court, I told you, it's the most powerful entity in these yet to be United States of America. In the great state of Indiana, hmm yes, that state. It's a north. Oh yeah, this ain't no southern state. Oh no, Indiana is in the north. Indiana, who has a former uh, governor that was promoting electric shock therapy for kids who were LGBTQ. This ain't the South, this the North. Indiana, because we're living in, I told you, the world that we live in right now is some dystopian nightmare of a novel that we didn't know we'd be living through. So in Indiana, they have 8 pending bills that will target K through 12 education. Many of these bills mandate severe punishments for what they term as deviant teachers. Punishments from termination to being sued by parents. For schools, it's loss of state funds and massive fines. A mess. We got HB House Bill 1362, which bans teachers from discussing sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin, or, quote, anti American ideologies, end quote. Let me read that, what's in that bill again. This is Indiana, House Bill 1362 bans teachers from discussing sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin, or anti-American ideologies. I just want y'all to know that conveniently they'll find a way for that to only fit the narrative of when it applies to black people, because they're gonna get rid of all parts of Black History Month, but they're gonna have all parts of Jewish History Month, but none of your Black history. No, we ain't gonna have no parts of that. House Bill 1040 demands teachers, quote, adopt a posture of impartiality, end quote, about historical events while declaring socialism, Marxism, communism, or totalitarianism incompatible with our, quote, principles of freedom, end quote. Hey, Jordana. Let me read that again. That's House Bill 1040 in the great state of Indiana. Indiana. It demands teachers, quote, adopt a posture of impartiality, end quote, about historical events while declaring socialism, Marxism, communism, or totalitarian or totalitarianism incompatible with our quote principles of freedom. Go to your meeting, Quintessential. We'll be here. You can watch the replay. Go, don't miss that meeting, Quintessential. Hey, Mickey N. House Bill 1231. This is in the great state of Indiana. House Bill 1231 prohibits teachers from introducing, quote, any controversial subject matter, end quote, beyond a topic or urging students to join, quote, political affiliation, ideology, or sectarian, and permits a taxpayer, not even a parent, to observe classrooms instruction at any time. Meaning, if somebody goes and says, oh, they're talking about something I don't think they should be talking about, anybody can say, oh, I need to go in the classroom and watch that teacher teach at any point. No, here's the problem with that. The problem with that is there's always been a strict rule about people coming in, even parents coming into classrooms to a certain degree, especially in the higher grades, because I don't know who that parent is. That parent hasn't been screened. We don't know if that parent is a sex offender. We don't know if that parent has been arrested for crimes against children. We don't know. We haven't done background checks on these people. We don't know anything about these people. And if you're saying that this child can be in and around children at any point, just because they feel like that person, we have a problem. But while y'all over here worried about the wrong thing, this is happening. This is happening. And that's just a couple of the laws. One of the bills requires teachers to tell parents if their child displays signs of gender nonconformity or asks to join a club about their sexuality or gender identity. Let me say that again. Hey, Ty, let me say that again. It requires teachers to tell parents if their child displays signs of gender nonconformity or asks to join a club about sexuality or gender identity. So because Jenny over here done wore pants and I don't like the way you wear these pants, that looks a little too masculine for me. That's too gender non-conforming for me. Let me go call your mama and tell your mama and your daddy that you around here being gender non-conforming. Mind you, some of these children have to be subjected to households where they are abused because of their identity, because they may be members of the LGBTQ plus community. And they have to be subjected to parents who will literally try to beat it out of them. And now, because you've left this to the hands of the teacher you're saying that that teacher is forced to call that parent and tell that parent, hey, Sims overdose, boo. That this child is doing something that is gender nonconforming and now perhaps subject that child to abuse in the household, this all under the guise of protecting children from the deadly LGBTQIA disease that's rampant out there. This is for all of you people screaming gay agenda out there. Remember all of these people blathering about this quote unquote gay agenda? Oh, there's a gay agenda. There's an agenda to end all things LGBTQIA. Let's be clear. This is why you have members of the LGBTQ population screaming from the rooftops, yeah, we need everything that's coming to us. Because there are laws being put in place. The problem with that, Jason, saying that they need to hide until 18, is that the child suicide rate for LGBTQIA plus children is going up. Exactly, Ty. If you want to join the cheerleading squad, no, that's for girls. That's not for boys. I'm calling your mama. Hey, mom. Hey, Ty's mom. Hey, Ty's dad. Ty is doing some stuff that's gender non-conforming. You need to know about it. Oh, Ty wanted to join the Gay Straight Alliance. I just wanted to let you know because he over here trying to join this club or this group that has things to do with sexual orientation and sexual identity. Let me read this for you again. I'm going to read to you that bill again. This is in the great state of Indiana. I don't want y'all to think that this is just in the South. This is the great state of Indiana. It requires teachers to tell parents. This is insane. If their child displays signs of gender nonconformity or asks to join a club about sexuality or gender identity. That's what y'all got going on. Just a mess. In the great state of Mississippi, they just passed the bill where all of the black legislators in the state of Mississippi walked out before the vote was taken because they didn't feel like they were needed to it didn't either it did not deserve their vote. They passed a bill banning what they deemed to be critical race theory, and that's another uh I should say anything talking about black people and what America really did in this country. But that passed easily. Of course, Governor Hot Wheels, who already passed, we know they already passed their a whole bunch of bills over there in Texas, banning stuff, but he has directed um he just announced a parents' bill of rights to quote help restore parents as the primary decision makers of their child's education and health care decisions. Oh, y'all thought it was just gonna be this education? Oh no, because now they're moving to health care. See, people, I just want people to get, see, when you think I don't got to worry about that because I don't got no kids that I ain't got nothing to go on, oh, this is about to go to healthcare. Because if you thought COVID-19 was the only method and manner with which white people wanted to control your health, let me read that again. Governor Hot Wheels announced a quote parents bill of rights to help restore parents as the primary decision makers of their child's education and health care decisions. He also directed state education agencies to develop standards preventing quote pornography and other obscene content in schools after removing from school libraries and public libraries two books titled Gender Queer, a Memoir, and In the Dream House, which is um which is about trauma that people face being LGBTQ youth. Yeah, this is happening. This is happening. Oh, because those books are considered porn because they talk about LGBTQ people loving on each other. Oh yeah. Governor Hot Wheels has also announced that the great state of Texas will be seeking criminal investigation of teachers who have given quote obscene content to students, and that is anything under the umbrella of LGBTQI that is deemed obscene in the great state of Texas. Anything under the umbrella of LGBTQIA plus is deemed obscene at this point. And they are seeking criminal investigations of these teachers. Oh yeah. If convicted, they'll lose their credentials and benefits, meaning their pensions, and go on a do not hire list. This what y'all got going on. Hmm. Now he's getting his parents' Bill of Rights idea from his good friend Governor Death Sentence, who already passed the parents' Bill of Rights. Oh, Governor Death Sentence already passed that. Y'all missed that memo. Sorry, that's already been passed. Anyway, oh yeah. Should I mention that a school district has already canceled Black History speaker and lecturer because they are fearful that that person is going to come and may say things that is deemed a part of critical race theory. So now they're canceling their whole um, presentation and lecture because they're fearful that if this person comes and talks about Black history as it should be talked about, it might be deemed critical race theory, and school boards could lose funding and teachers could lose licensing. Yep, that's happening in Florida. That's what we got going on. Yep. So I'm going to, yeah, I've been on here almost 2 hours, so I'm about to get off here. And I will let the people go and continue to find 8,000 ways to, with surgical precision, break down the Tasha K and Cardi B adjudication, because that's the most important thing going on in the world now, as opposed to all of these things that are happening right underneath their noses and they don't care. I'll give you all a chance to go back over there and talk about all of those things that have way more influence on lives than what we got going on over here. And I'm not saying that we can't have balance. I'm not saying we can't, have balance. But let's have real balance where there is some mention of things that have real meaning and context in our existence. But who the hell am I? Who am I? PD Pablo. Remember that song? That's old school. PD Pablo from North Carolina. I told you I got to do a whole live dedicated. It's probably gonna end up being a whole series of lives dedicated to the great state of North Carolina, because as bad as y'all think Texas and Florida is, North Carolina has passed way more laws and way worse laws, and they just don't get as much publicity. So they get to just do it under, the cover of darkness. So anyway, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. I'm so grateful to you all for being over here with me and sitting here. Thank you, mods, for doing what you do and modding up the place. Thank you to all my members that are here. I got some stuff coming for y'all next week, members. Thank you all so much for all that you do over here with and for me. I don't ask for anything. I don't ask y'all to subscribe. I don't ask you to send me anything. I don't even ask you to press the like button. So the mods might actually press the like button, but I never do. And y'all still come over here. Y'all rock with me and y'all do all of the things that y'all do with and for me. And I am so grateful and so appreciative. I never want that to go unsaid that I'm not grateful for all that you do. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with me. That's all I got for y'all today. I'm way late for what I'm supposed to be doing today. Way late. Anyway, until next time, that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.